my face and my face. So before I begin, I want to start by saying that I've had like 85 existential crises since I've been asked to do this speech, because nothing makes you realize that you've been doing something for 12 years, quite like being asked to do a talk on commitment. So before we start, I feel that I shouldn't assume anything. So raise your hand if you've heard of BYT. Okay, it's pretty good. Thank you. Raise your hand if you've been to a BYT event. Solid, 50% showing. Raise your hand if you read BYT. Okay, good. So what this goes to show is that basically we have a company that really is a community, and there's like 1,000 entry points into it. And we are trying to always engage with you through all these different entry points, and it's maybe that you're not aware of like the full spectrum, which has evolved over the last 12 years. And yes, my face is about to move away from this. So to give you some context of what kind of commitment we got ourselves into, I'm going to start by going back to the year 2006, okay? There's people that work for me full-time that have been like in middle school at the time, so I don't expect anyone to actually like remember 2006 properly, but like here's some gentle reminders of what that looked like. This was the president. Yeah. Well, just you wait. This is what you took photos of your friends with. These are the top 5 songs that were on the charts. I personally, kind of wish I lobbied for this to be our intro music. Okay, this is the social media news. It's the year that Twitter is born, okay? But it's still a year before the hashtag was born, okay? It's like forever ago, right? Like this doesn't even, Instagram doesn't exist. Facebook being used by people you actually knew in college, right? And this is what Cardi B looked like. And this is what BYT looked like, kind of like Cardi B, really, at that time. So DC was a weird place, right? I was relatively new in it. Am I too loud? Maybe I'm not too loud. DC was a weird place, it was kind of an era of going, starting to go east of 14th Street, if you can believe it, as sort of an adventure. We were sort of neither here nor there. Like we were definitely not happy with who was in the White House. We felt that, people used terms like Hollywood for ugly people in the press. And really, there was no way to find out about anything because there was basically very little social media unless it was in traditional press. And so me and a group of people I met, on the streets, as you met people at the time, at like random house parties and shows and things like that, thought that it would be really cool to post photos that we would write over in impact font on kind of like a little cartoon on what at the time was my MySpace blog, right? And like our whole marketing strategy was, make us your top 8 and, check back in on all these people having fun and not wearing like slacks. And then we felt that really, like, it was sort of unfair to just have photos of things that have happened. This, by the way, is one of the co-founders of BYT. You'll start seeing him in his many incarnations throughout this, Kale. And we thought, it's terrible to just show people things that they missed, right? Why wouldn't people want to be invited to something? And there turned out to be seemingly 1 million people at the time trying to get their like friends to like their first ever gallery opening, or like trying to play their very first show, you know, at some like weird place on H Street that like there was no, you know, metro to, and it was like 4 zones and on the cab. I'm like very old. And so we built a blog spot, right, which had a calendar incorporated in it. And we only took photos and covered things that we also put on the calendar. And it transpired that at the time, people needed it. It's kind of a crazy thing to say, right? You had like traditional press, which you trusted, but you didn't necessarily relate to, right? This wasn't how you thought about life. This is not how you ate your dinners. This is not how you went to theater. You had the internet, which was at the time kind of like defined by like snarkiness and sort of like a little bit like negative insider baseball energy. And then we were like going to be right there in the middle, right? Like the goal was to create something that was personality driven, but it was not personal, that was relatable, that was trustworthy, that was editorialized, but felt like a friend, you know, like a friend on the internet. And obviously we had some problems, namely like, you know, English is my second language, so some typos on the impact fonts things. People didn't know what to do with us. The word millennial didn't exist at the time, for example, and the word hipster was like a dirty one. And we didn't have a business plan, we didn't know anything. All we knew was that this audience could not be ignored. So maybe, okay, fast forward to, the year is 2018. Here we are, I'm giving a speech on commitment, so something must have worked out, right? Been here for 12 years. This is the president. This is what you take photos of your friends and your top-down shots of coffee cups with. This is the top 5 songs on Spotify. I actually was pleasantly surprised that I didn't hate all of them, you know? Like, it's good, made me feel in touch with things. This is social media news. Literally, I was sending this out on Tuesday, and I Googled social media news and screenshotted the latest like story, the first story that popped up on the Google search. So, you know, it went from not existing to clearly about to ruin your life to some extent. Youngsters is a word that is apparently being used. Millennial is a dirty word. Report problems with anxiety, depression, sleep, and FOMO. This is what Cardi B looks like. Things have been looking up for some of us. And this is what BYT looks like. This is not what BYT looked like 6 months ago, because it took us 7 years to redesign our website to be mobilely accessible, but that is because we were busy, you know? It's fine. Things are good. It's now this, hopefully, platform that like makes your life a little better. We don't have anything useful on it. We never did. Never will. There's no weather. There's no sports scores. You're not going to find out what's happening with the red line today or anything like that. The only reason to engage with us is because you are interested in something happening in the world around you, hopefully, you know? You are hopefully the person that emails your friends on Thursday morning telling them that there's this like cool, weird thing happening, or also this very fancy thing happening. And you know, we engage with you on multiple platforms now because you have to, you know? The website serves as not just a place for the immediate stuff to do things, but also like great articles about interesting people, about staying sane, about, you know, hiding in your home and watching some things, hopefully, and things like that, right? So we have evolved with our audience, and we have responded to our audience over the years as to what to do. Now, certain things have obviously happened in between. I'm not going to show you who the president was in between, because you know that. But here are some highlights, I would like to think, in between the many tears and sleepless nights that have happened. So we started in 2006. Around 2008, we decided that you can't just be friends with people on the internet, right? It's just not like a viable way to live your life. So we wanted to engage with this audience that we spoke to all day, every day, in person. And we thought about, you know, how should we do this? And the whole purpose of BYT was to share with people about different events and things happening in the city, and we didn't want to just build something that competes with all the things that we write about, right? We wanted to be supportive to the community, but we wanted to also provide something new and different to the community. So we landed on this idea, which is a very labor-intensive idea, an idea that requires commitment, that we will build completely different special things every single time. So we were obviously very excited about the museums in the city. The museums in the city were worried about not engaging a local audience. That has not necessarily changed. We were excited about weird comedy. We were excited about all sorts of stuff. And so we set out to build large-scale, high-impact events that provide some variation of the content we do online, offline, which sounds like a natural thing. None of us had ever done an event before. None of us had ever, you know, had a media company before either. So it was, again, a commitment to like a change and an idea to start something afresh. So here are some moments. Okay, this is a pretty solid moment. This is Nick Offerman, who actually did our first ever comedy festival with us in 2009. He sang a song, a Carrie Underwood song. And this is me, him, and our New York editor matching his mustache with some 930 Club cupcakes. This is how many photos have been uploaded to the BYT Flickr. So all original content. We have some amazing photographers that capture both our events and like the life around us. Chances are some of you are in them. This is a photo washed out DJing in front of the Hubble telescope during a 50th anniversary event for 2001 Space Odyssey, which premiered right here in Washington, DC. This is how many events were posted onto the BYT calendar pages last year. It's quite a difference compared to, you know, the 2006 and people trying to like figure out what to do with themselves. This is Weird Al hugging me. It looks very genuine. That's why I put it in, because I think when I kind of think of like moments of BYT, I like try to find like the most genuine moments of joy. And you can't see my face, but you can see how happy he is to be there, right? It's good. It is a frenzy of BYT staff around trying to make sure that no one else hugs him but me. This is how many original content articles were posted on BYT last year. If you have a blog and you're one of those people that are like, where does the content come from? I don't have time to post. Keep in mind that BYT only has 2 full-time editorial staff. They manage, obviously, some great contributors and photographers, but this is what 2 people can get done. This is Madam Gandhi DJing at the Renwick studio. Magical moment. This is how many attendees to BYT events last year. So not only did we take this audience and introduce them to some things in real life, but hopefully we made some new friends in the process. This is a photo of Tig being taught how to DJ by Animal Collective on her iPad which we then discovered only had indigo girls on it. This is how many naps we take during our festival season. That's a lie, obviously, unless they're on top of Glass. On top of Glass, you can nap any chance you get. And this is how many hours in the last year we have spent discussing true crime. So here we are now. The year is 2018. And the world is just as scary, if not like scarier, right, than it has been in the last 12 years. I mean, I don't even know where to begin every morning I wake up, right? But what we do think people still need, what they've needed in 2006, what they needed in 1996, what they needed in 1906, is they need the joy in their lives. And while we could probably set out to be a little more purpose-driven or something else, we do think that it is important that in a city like DC and in other major cities in this climate and everything else, there is someone that is truly like just there to help you live your best life. So over the years, we evolved from that blog spot into slideshows that maybe work, into this. This is what we do. We're a publishing house dedicated to all things good in DC, New York, and in Chicago. And we reached hundreds of thousands of humans every day. We talk to them all day, every day, right? Like we are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, on Facebook, we are writing articles, we are, listening to your questions, we're hoping to answer. And we are a production company that specializes, as I mentioned, in high-impact, large-scale events designed to be truly memorable and shareable. And we are different from most other media companies because we do put ourselves out there to sell these tickets. Like we don't want to just get some sponsor money, and like throw some things at you and do whatever. We want you to feel that this investment is worth it, right? It's not going to be a massive investment. It's not going to be like an insane thing we're asking you to do, but we want you to like feel something like this is worth it. And then, as a natural extension of this, as most people we worked with looked to engage audiences in a genuine, and creative way and build loyalty, we have built an in-house content marketing and event production agency, meaning that essentially everything we do for ourselves, we can do for other people, as long as we feel we know how we can connect their mission, product, content to the audience that they're trying to. We are creative, innovative, and relationship-driven media business in an oversaturated attention economy where loyalty is the highest commodity. Okay, we are our own best case study. You are our family. And the point of this is that there isn't like a big point to it, right? We wanted to do something. We had an idea to do something. We didn't have a business plan. We didn't seek investors. BYT is still completely independent and bootstrapped organization. We live off the money we make. So we put ourselves out there to hopefully have you like us. Possibly a little less after I'm done with this speech, but, and to kind of celebrate all the things that make life worth living, because while a lot has changed, and right now there is too many things, right? There's no more macro audience. There's no more one thing we all talk about when we come to work on Monday, right? Like there's no more like must-see TV at the time that you watch TV. There's no more anything. We should be there when you need us, right? Every message we send, every little note we send, every little missive we send, it's like we're making a move on you, right? Like it's like we're hoping to connect. We're hoping that you like us. We're hoping that like something clicks, right? That when you see something, it just like makes you feel like less alone on your commute, or makes you feel like you have something to share with your friends. Every event we do, we're basically asking you out on a date, right? We know you have other choices. We know you have like other opportunities to do things, including doing nothing. which is very easy to do in 2018. But we hope that you choose us, you know? And if you don't, it's okay, because we're gonna keep trying, right? Like, we're coming at you, right? We are committed to never stopping trying. Like, maybe you're not into parties, right? Maybe you've been, at this point, probably to a museum after hours event 1,000,000 times. That's fine. You know, we tried really hard to like make every single one of them like very special and unique. But maybe you're into comedy, you know? You just like love to laugh. And so you can come to our Benson Bowl Comedy Festival. Maybe you talk to your coworkers about true crime all the time, kind of like we do. So we are actually building a true crime festival, because we've been like listening to our audience and listening to like what they click on and like what they like and what happens, and you know, get ready in November. It's gonna be a thing. We invented it. It doesn't exist in the world. We committed to truly like putting something together. You know, maybe you're into interesting talks, maybe you're into something else. So that is basically what this is. The city has changed, but it has stayed the same. We are all facing the same issues that we faced in 2006. People think about first the person that is in the White House, and not necessarily about who you are or what you do or what keeps you going every morning. But we know that the city is full of like awesome people that are super smart, that get jokes, that read all the papers, you know, that know what's going on. And I think they deserve quality entertainment. So what's next? You know, when we celebrated 10 years of BYT, which at this point was 2 years ago, we wanted to build a sequence of events and content that perfectly described what we do. So we did a little bit, you know, of kind of edu-entertainment things. We did a little bit of comedy. We did a little bit of partying. And since then, we have committed to like evolving what we stand for and what makes this not just like a short-term project, but maybe something we can be proud of as like a life's work, you know, which is like a terrifying thing to discuss in 2018, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow, you know, like Facebook is going to burn down. There's going to be no way for anyone to get news. Like privacy settings probably mean you will never get a BYT email again. So what is next for us? June 8th, there's a very shiny LGBTQ event that we have been throwing now at this point for 9 years. BYT is the only publication in DC that has fully integrated queer content and has had it since the very beginning. We are the only place that you can get queer Best Weekend Bets, not just Best Weekend Bets. It's going to be really fun. It's obviously welcoming and inviting to everyone. We highly encourage you spend your next paycheck on glitter so you can fit in. Okay. In 2009, we interviewed Tig Notaro for BYT. She was just the person that was doing a show. We thought she was incredibly funny, like incredibly weird and different. We invited her to actually MC our Obama inauguration event, which also featured Wale and some other like people that, you know, grew to become like exciting and awesome people. And she told us that comedians don't like comedy festivals. She told us that they all get like shipped in, shipped out, they don't get to see each other, they're all friends, it's terrible. And what if we built a different kind of comedy festival? And so in 2009, again, none of us had ever thrown an event at the time, especially not of that scale. We did the first ever Benson Bowl. Then we took a little break because life happened and people got sick and busy, et cetera. But in 2013, we brought it back, and it has been happening, you know, ever since. We're super excited for the 2018 edition. These are the headliners we have announced so far. I'm not supposed to tell you that they're all female and non-binary, because you're supposed to capture that moment mentally by seeing it. But that's what's happening. It is a festival with a purpose. We always have a great nonprofit partner for it. And the goal for it is to create kind of like a post-anger place here in DC, right? Like a place that isn't about being a woman and being angry, that isn't about being in front of the White House and like throwing things at it, but it's about starting new conversations right here, because we're like good enough for it and smart enough for it. And if we bring some of the smartest, funniest people in the country to participate, hopefully everyone will listen. Then, the week after, because we are committed to dying in October and November, we're going to put together our first true crime festival. And it's going to be amazing, okay? It's not going to be a convention. It's not going to be like some terrifying thing where people exchange like blood vials, in booths or something like that. It is going to be the Benson Bowl of true crime, right? We're going to like do something that is going to be the most interesting people to discuss and obsess together on the mythology of true crime. So, stay tuned for that. It's going to be called Death Becomes Us. Shout out to Jen Tisdale for coming up with every name for a BYT event ever. And then, in between those things, have content. We have some soon-to-be-announced amazing events with our friends at Smithsonian and National Geographic, which are like at this point, like years-long relationships. We have REI's first ever music festival that we are launching together. They're one of our favorite clients, and more. And we can't do any of it without you, okay? We are committed to doing this work, but primarily we are committed to our audience. That's really what it comes down to. So without you, this doesn't exist. So please, stay in touch. Here are some ways to do that if you're into it. And, we hope to see you around for the next 12 years, really. That's it.